Shade Piper, he asked, rank the 6 coaching vacancies in order of attractiveness to Eric Bieniemy if he has the pick of the litter. Fun fact, he doesn't have the pick of the litter because it came out on Wednesday, right before we recorded this. Houston Texans did not ask to interview Eric Bieniemy and did not interview Eric Bieniemy. So the one job that I think everyone was like, okay, we really hope Eric Bieniemy gets the Texans because the Texans would be a good fit. Deshaun Watson, good quarterback there. They don't interview him. So out of the 5 coaching vacancies, then now we'll go with the 5. Which do you think is more attractive to EB? Who wants to start with this one?
I'll let Connor have it.
Yeah. I would. I mean, the most attractive is Chargers. But I feel like the Chargers have the pick of the litter themselves. Yeah. And I don't think Eric Bieniemy is going to be their top choice.
I agree.
Especially because I think him and Anthony Lynn are kind of the same mold of coach. They're player coaches. They're former running back coaches, offensive-minded coaches. They kind of seem born from the same cloth. So I think they kind of want to go away from that in a way. So I think they're going to go someone like Brian Dable. I think that's who I'm expecting to land there. And that's the nightmare scenario for me as a Chiefs fan, because I think that's actually a really good pairing for Justin Herbert. But
yeah,
right.
I think the next one that Eric Bieniemy probably would want is Atlanta. I really think Atlanta's a good spot for somebody right now. It's a bit of a weirder one because they have established players there, like Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. But I think Eric Bieniemy kind of is suited for a team that wants immediate success. I think he would install the culture there day one from the start. People would buy in immediately, and he could kind of get the ball rolling immediately. And that's kind of what Atlanta wants. So if I were him, I would definitely consider Atlanta the second opening compared to the Chargers. I'm a bit surprised the Texans aren't at least interviewing him. That's a bit odd. I figured they would just interview him. And I even said earlier on in this process, I would not be surprised if he wasn't hired. There's a lot of smoke from insiders in the NFL about Bieniemy's just quite not been the guy that has won people over in interviews. Apparently he's interviewing poorly. So it's hard to say if he will have a pick of the litter. I think it's more of a thing where a team will see him as a fit.
Right.
I don't know exactly where they'll be right now, but if I were him, it would be Chargers, Atlanta, top 2.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna go with Jacksonville as my second, because the Chargers are definitely the top one because of Herbert, but I also agree that Brian Daboll is going to be the guy there, or at least I think he's going to be, which is also definitely a scary thing because Herbert did all that damage his rookie season without maybe his quote unquote guy. So that'll be interesting. I think it's Jacksonville. I mean, you're going to have the number 1 pick. You're going to have another first round pick. I believe they also have a third from the Ngakoue trade. They're going to have cap room. They have Chenault and Chark on offense. They have Robinson. Like, they're not completely devoid of talent. But with that said, even with all that cap space and draft capital, that team's literally going to like clear house and start over. Like on defense, they need a bunch of help. They're no longer the Jacksonville team that can hold on to that reputation of when they had Ngakoue and Jalen Ramsey and all those guys. They're not that team anymore. Like their defense is nowhere near what it used to be. Offensively, their line needs a lot of help. They're going to need one more receiver to kind of form that trio. So I think I would go Jacksonville too, but Atlanta would be pretty close behind just because I agree they're more established. If he goes there from day one, can have immediate success. But the job I just don't like at all is the Jets job. I like the Lions job because of the intrigue of having Matt Stafford still there potentially if they don't trade him. If Stafford's gone, then it gets really interesting. But the Jets just – Adam Gase leaves a sour taste in my mouth from that team, even though he's not there anymore.
I actually have a different opinion of a lot of those teams. I actually like the Jets job more than the Jags job right now. Solely because of the fact that Shad Khan said he would be involved in player personnel decisions. An owner having his fingers in that stuff is basically Jerry Jones. And he's the only other owner that said he will be doing that. Christopher Johnson, he seems to be deferring a lot of the power to Joe Douglas. And he's saying Joe Douglas will be the one spearheading the coaching search. He'll be the one spearheading roster control. And I think Joe Douglas has already proven he has a decent track record already. His last draft was actually really good. So I kind of trust him to build that team. And Jacksonville doesn't even have a GM right now. So
that's true. And the Jets have some talent on that team. I mean, they're not a horrible team.
Yeah.
Their record was really, really bad.
I just think the Jags and the Jets both are looking for a ton of talent and players. And right now, with the way they're talking, it's only the way they're talking. We'll see if it's applied. I just like the structure of the Jets a little bit more right now. I don't trust owners that say they will have the final say in personnel decisions.
Yeah.
And the Lions job is fine. I think I don't know if Stafford's going to be there. Who knows if
that's exactly what it is. It's just fine. That is exactly what it is.
Yeah. And Stafford also has some injury issues. He's getting injured a lot every year now. So I think the Lions job is fine. If he goes there, I think that would be a good fit too. But I just like Atlanta just because Matt Ryan, you kind of get Matt Ryan at the end of his career. And if you prove it with Matt Ryan, you might even get to draft the next quarterback for them. So that would be
preferably an NFC team.
You would kind of get the best of both worlds there. So I like Atlanta for him more than Jacksonville just because of Shad Khan.
Right. Jordan, we had a conversation. I don't remember what week it was. Was it the bye week when we did a podcast about Eric Bieniemy potential landing spots?
Yep.
We did a whole podcast episode on it, and I've been on the Atlanta train early. Before Dan Quinn was fired, I've been saying, hey, Atlanta is a job that you want. I actually found this fun little chart, if you can call charts fun, about approximate 2021 cap space, number of draft picks for each of these vacancies. The Falcons have the least amount of cap room. They're actually minus 24.5 million in the hole, but they have a first round pick, which is the number 4, the second round, a third round, and 3, 4 through 7th. So that job is interesting to me because it's the number 4 overall pick, right? I mean, he's going to have say in probably who to pick. The Jags got a whole lot of picks and they've got a whole lot of cap room, which is obviously intriguing to a lot of people. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a third, and 7 4th through 7th round picks. So that's always fun to play with in the draft when you got all those people.
Yeah. The only thing I would remember, I like established players more than potential players. So unless I'm like a GM, maybe I would like that. But as a coach, I would know I have Matt Ryan and Julio Jones to work with. I would rather have that than a potential first round pick. So those first round picks could be anything. They could be Matt Ryan.
That's true.
They could be. And another job that you guys brought up eventually, it took you a while, I was going to bring it up, was the Detroit Lions job. The Detroit Lions job, I think, is a little interesting. A franchise that has not been very good recently, or really ever. So potential for him to kind of turn around there, which is a lot. It's a whole task to take, but Matt Stafford, again, another guy who is an established player, as you mentioned, but does have some injury problems. Will he be there next year? You don't know. Same thing with Atlanta. Will Matt Ryan be there? You don't know. They could just try to start over. But
I don't think they can really move on from Matt Ryan contract wise, from what I saw.
How many does he have left?
Like 3-4 years, I think.
I did not know that. I thought he was.
And the thing is, the people bring up like both of those guys have been tied to Shanahan in San Francisco. I think that neither one of them are probably going to happen, but I think the Stafford going there would be more likely, even though Ryan has worked with him in the past. I mean, it's just difficult to see with those contracts moving.
Yeah, he has 3 years left. If they cut Matt Ryan, he would have $50 million in dead cap, and they would lose $9 million in cap space.
Good Lord, that's
not
ideal.
They're already the lowest team.
Cap.
Yeah, 24.5 million according to this chart that I have here. I'm just really intrigued why the Texans didn't even want to interview Eric Bieniemy. It just seems so weird. And they
hired the Patriots guy to be the GM, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Did they interview Jason Garrett, or was that the Chargers who interviewed
Chargers?
That was the Chargers. Coach Clapp to the Chargers. I would be so happy if that happened. I would be
please
so happy.
Let that happen. Oh my God.
I would also feel so bad for that kid, Justin Herbert, though. I'd feel for him every week.
He would be just a younger version of Deshaun Watson, essentially, because he's not going to be put in a great situation either.